a couple days I had, I would call it, I kind of crashed. I just became so tired, and for really no reason, because those days were not, at least in anything I could think of, any different than normal, nor were the days before them. I just kind of, I couldn't really stand up for long without getting so tired that I had to sit or lay down on the floor, and I went home and I just fell asleep, and I didn't know if this was caused by my possibly worsening symptoms or what. I told them about it. They seemed very concerned. That was when they put me on the Holter. And that triggered the whole thing. Those and the arrhythmias triggered the whole thing saying, you need to get a valve implant now. And although I later found out, I was always told, actually, that I would be probably needing this valve implant surgery later in life. I was never really told when. They said I could go, till I'm 30 even, maybe, without needing it. But I later found out that it's routinely given to people. It seems like they give it to a lot of people at around 15 years old. And the earlier the better. If they can catch you before you get really bad hypertrophy because of the regurgitation. So the final test that I had in this series was an MRI of my chest. And I'd actually had an MRI of my brain before in conjunction with my college. Kind of a cool thing. I have an image. And it gave me no problems. This, however, did give me problems. For one thing, they bound my arms to my body. They wrapped me like a mummy, and they just kind of left me there without really saying much. And after a while, I think they were MRIing, like imaging, deeper, because my body started to heat up, and they told me it would happen, but it just started to become very uncomfortable. And after that, I had this kind of panic attack. And it turned out that I was in the room for 75 minutes, though not all of that was in the actual MRI. And it was just a bad experience for me. If anyone watching this needs to get a chest MRI, I would suggest that you ask them if you can have your arms free, because I don't really see the point to that. They're just trying to keep you still, and for me, having the arms free is just so much nicer. You don't want to be like tied up. Some people can't even stand the MRI without being sedated. I'm not quite like that. I just need I just need some contact with the world and the ability to move around a little bit. Anyway, so the results of that, they found out through that and through the echocardiograms that I have 60% or greater pulmonic regurgitation. And about hypertrophy in the size of my right ventricle, I was first told that I had no hypertrophy. Then I was told that I did have hypertrophy. I was also, I swear that I remember at some point them telling me that the right side of my heart was 2 times as large as it should be. But I didn't record that anywhere, and I don't know the source of that. So I can't, verify that. And then I did, however, get a letter from my doctor. One of the things it said was that I had an end diastolic volume of 170, which is at least a little bit larger than it should be. End diastolic volume, if you don't know, is basically just the greatest volume that your heart expands to when it's relaxed, when it's not contracting. And on that note, it would seem to me that if I have regurgitation of more than 50%, that would mean that my right heart is at least 20% larger than my left heart. So, one of the things about having a condition like this, where you're always seeing doctors, I mean, not always, where you've seen a lot of doctors, you start getting the feeling like they're giving you different information at different times. Even if they're not, you misinterpret something they say, or you misremember it, and then it starts getting you confused. I try to notate everything that they say. It gets a little confusing sometimes. But nonetheless, I do know that I have a problem. I know that from my own research, of which I have done a lot, I know that it's a problem that is routinely corrected with a pulmonic valve implant. And the earlier the better. If they can catch it before it's too late, the hypertrophy is expected to go down, which is good.